Okay, Tubies, this is a past life reading for Moonsindra 86. I believe I said that right. For the record, before I start, I want to say if anybody attempts to use this spread, which I have no problem with, that's fine, but in order to do so, you really, really do have to touch up on your history. Because in this spread, it really tells you where and when, and it's up to you it gives you the qualities of the time, and you have to perspectively see it to understand what it's saying. So, I mean, learning history really does help with this, but anyway. You had a very interesting life, ma'am. To begin with, you were a highly, regarded, person, locally, and in court, but I'll get to that later. What you did was, you were a wise woman, wise person, I'm sorry. You tried to achieve balance in people's lives by mending their relationships. You'd help them show the different perspectives of it. And ultimately, really, this did seal your fate when it came to you, and I'll get more, like I said, more to that later. For a place, this one was difficult for me to figure out. There was 3 court cards. There's the Sage of Wands, the Mother of Pentacles, and the Mother of, Cups. There we go. Almost every element here, except for Mother of Swords. But, have you ever heard of a triumvirate? Triumvirate, if I've said that right, I don't know. This has led me to lead me to Rome. Rome had a triumvirate. It grew to a time where there was it was too large for one ruler to hold the dominion of the entire country. So they had a triumvirate, which was 3 ruling leaders. Well, and that's what I'm seeing here. So that's the only country that I have ever heard of that has done this. And it makes sense when I look at the time. So I'm assuming that you're from Rome. And it was in a time where Rome was going through that shift with Constantine, who was shifting Rome from paganism to Christianity. And there was a lot of religious war. It was a time of religious war. They didn't like it. It was that time. It was during that period where the Christians. It was after the time Jesus died and was crucified. It was the time the Nazarenes, or Christians, and the pagans fought heavily in Rome. You're a person who you really didn't care much. Excuse me, trying to get comfortable. You didn't care much for that. You just wanted to help people with the knowledge that you had, which is perfectly alright. Now, I said that leads you to your fate because you were protected for a very long time. One of the nobles in the family had you protected. They liked you, perhaps even used you before. However, your fate was sealed because the family generally didn't like you, but this one person had dominion, so, I mean, they couldn't do much about it. Well, that person that regarded you had died. Which left a window of opportunity to eliminate you and the uprising of Christianity. Now, though you didn't care, people saw that your teaching methods were too pagan and too heretical for how you were teaching life. They didn't like the way you were teaching the life of how people should live, or love, rather. And so they saw you as a heretic. And, of course, had done away with you. And, that's a very interesting life, I must say. You really didn't care. You were a very free-loving spirit. And I get that from you now. You're a very free-loving spirit. You're a very gentle person. But how that affects you in today's world, in today's life, I'm sorry, is that it teaches you to use your abilities and not take things for granted like you did in your past life. You just went on and said, oh, well, I'll be safe. Not so. I want to say in this life, are you always on guard, spiritually speaking? I don't know much more about that, but are you much on guard? People, you've used this knowledge that you have to also defend yourself and others. It's a very, very important lesson for you to learn. Um, and to expand your knowledge, of course. Instead of that that one position on romance. This, however, could also affect your romantic life, but I wouldn't fret on that too much. But that's your past life reading. Go ahead and rate me, please. That'd be wonderful. I think a friend requested you and subscribed to you. But please be sure to refer me to friends. And I hope you enjoyed it. Blessed be and have a great week.